Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, I just said if anyone thinks you're sailing in May, you're probably a little bit crazy, and guess what? It may be not sailing until August now. So late Thursday, the CDC came out and said it is extending its shutdown of all American ports to cruise ships for another 100 days. Now, it originally started on the 14th of April, which will be this Monday. So if you extrapolate from that and go 100 days from there, you have May, June, July. July 14th, add another 10 days onto that. July 24th, you pretty much are going to say that the very first time cruise ships are going to be able to sail in North America will be around August 1st, which is even further than Canada has right now at the moment, closing down until July 1st. So this is going to throw the cruise ship companies into a little bit of turmoil because of it all happening in like one announcement. Now that doesn't mean they can't start up in Asia or can't start up in Australia or can't start up in Europe. They're just saying right now in North America, especially the United States, Canada already has an order, but you cannot sail or disembark passengers from a port in North America from the US. And so that throws Alaska out, that throws a lot of things out that a lot of people were wondering. I get a lot of messages every day. I have a cruise coming up at the end of April. I have a cruise coming up in the end of May or the beginning of June. Is my cruise going? Well, no, it's not. You can pretty much say now, no, it's not. Now the order still has to be confirmed, but every order that the CDC has come down with has been confirmed within a couple days, so you can imagine it'll be confirmed by the end of this weekend, if not today. So now where does that leave a lot of the cruise industry? The cruise industry, remember, still has 80,000 employees still at sea, and they still have 8 ships out there right now with passengers on board. Now the CDC order also stipulates a whole bunch of different things that they have to do. It is telling them that saying because they are from flags of foreign countries, as you know, most of them are, Bahamas or Greece or some other area other than the United States, and that they have to pay for everything basically. They have to pay for, getting their employees home, which makes sense, doesn't make sense. But they're also saying that they must provide enough doctors and equipment on board to service any passengers who fall ill or crew members who fall ill. Well, that's all well and good. What happens if it's 1,000 crew members that fall ill? How many people, and there's only a limited amount of doctors willing to go out to sea to help these people. And it also, they're saying that they have to use their own ships and send their own ships out there. One of them to act as a residential ship for those treating the passengers, and one of them as a quarantine ship. And so they're stipulating an awful lot of orders, but can they be withheld? And if they're outside of US waters, the cruise ships really can't be held to the CDC's recommendation. The CDC is a US government body. It doesn't control the world. It's not a world body. It's not the World Health Organization. So really, they are making they can close the ports all they want. They can't really demand from the cruise ships that they do all these different things unless they're in US waters. So if they're parked off the coast of the Caribbean or, another area of the world, they can't really enforce this. They're only holding them there. And they don't even have the threat of withholding the stimulus package from them because they've already told them they're not going to get a stimulus package. part of it. So, it's kind of like, well, we can tell you to do something, but they don't necessarily have to do it. And it also, in some cases, could actually go against international law. International law states that if there is an emergency on board, people are sick, or there's a problem on a ship in distress, a port has to render assistance, has to offer safe harbor. And it is actually, it's been, ever since we sailed, started taking to the ocean and worldwide, that these kind of laws have been in effect. So on one hand, they're saying a lot of things, and a lot of things could be eventually end up being fought in the court system, and it could be very interesting to see who wins. Is it the CDC who would win? Is it international law that would win? Because violating international law really does not look good on the United States as a whole. It just wouldn't, because we would be the first to complain if another country is breaking international law. So it's very disheartening for the cruise line industry, and now they're going to, I honestly think that the cruise lines have been preparing for this anyway. I'm pretty sure they've been preparing for a much longer shutdown than the middle of this month. And in the middle of part of next month. I'm pretty sure most of them were expecting to be down until at least June at the very, very minimum. Otherwise, they wouldn't be going out and raising billions and billions of dollars. And in case you didn't know, Carnival just sold out 6.5% to a Saudi investment, so a Saudi prince or Saudi company, and so they have a lot of money backing them right now. So they are prepared to go for quite a while in case this keeps going. Now, this order can be rescinded on a few things. First of all, the CDC announces that this is no longer a health emergency, at which case this order would be rescinded. Another thing they could do is they could just lift it themselves, saying that it's slowed down enough and there's enough, protocols in place that they feel it no longer causes a risk. That can also happen. Or, it could go on much longer than the 100 days as well. So that's where we stand right now. It is still very interesting that the CDC is making demands on cruise ships that aren't really U.S. ships, and it seems kind of wait a minute. You can tell the ports to shut down and what to do, but you can't tell in other countries or other ships registered in other countries what to do. And then you're also saying that you won't help if there is a medical emergency on board. You say they have to fly equipment out to the ships and things like that. Cruise ships aren't hospital ships. They don't have operating rooms. There's a limited amount of doctors on board. It definitely does not have the resources that a real hospital would have. So it calls into play an awful lot of situations. And if things go wrong on the cruise ships, if the cruise ships are sending doctors out and what equipment they can to the ship, and the worst case happens where people pass away on the ship because there's not enough equipment or things like that, you can't really blame the cruise line for it if they're trying to do it. If no one wants to go out on a cruise ship and work on a cruise ship, how are you going to send somebody there? You cannot force doctors to go someplace. They're going to go as volunteers or they're going to be part of the company, but there's only so many ship doctors out there, let's be real. And so there's a lot of things that can come into play. So it just seems like it's being, everyone is looking to stop the bleeding, if you will. Just stop everything, and you guys look after this, we don't want to look after it anymore. And then you guys look after this, we don't want to look after it anymore. And in the statement, the CDC actually came out and said that the cruise lines did not do enough to stop the spread of the virus going around. And I would fight back right there as an argument and say, well, guess what? The CDC didn't do enough as well to stop the outbreak from going around, allowing, just taking people off ships and just allowing them to fly home everywhere, flying people in from other countries, allowing them to just get on international flights, land in wherever in the United States, just head out into the countryside. There's an awful lot of things that the CDC did wrong as well. So to try and point blame at one industry over another, the airlines were way behind the cruise industry as far as screening people and checking people. And even to this day, the testing done at airports are not near what the testing was being done before the cruise lines even shut down. So, I honestly think that picking on the cruise line, but I'm partial. I will admit it. I'm partial. I don't like seeing blame thrown around when no answers are out there yet, especially to an organization that really so far hasn't proven that they know what they're doing yet. So, it's just, all good intentions. They're trying. Don't get me wrong. People are trying. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're successful just because you try. And the same with the cruise lines. They try. Doesn't mean they're going to be successful. So why are you pointing these things out? It just, I understand, yes, the cruise lines should be putting their own people home. They should be providing medical services. Absolutely, and all that. But when people absolutely need help, you can't just say, oh, you got to provide it out there. Don't come here. Because, humanity, international law, there's all kinds of precedent out there that's saying we should always help those who need it the most. And so, the CDC is actually just going against that in some of these rulings. But I digress. I just wanted to state that out there. If you're thinking you're cruising anytime soon, in North America, I imagine now it looks like around the 1st of August is your first possible opportunity to step back on a cruise ship, if you're willing to do it even then. I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.